Hello and welcome to FootballFan.Zone, where we give you, the fan, insight from the inside. Today we're at Whiteley Football Club and I am joined by former Premier League manager, over 300 games with West Ham and Charlton, Alan Kirbishley, and football journalist, Paddy Barclay. Gentlemen, welcome. Today we're talking about the top four. Curbs, I'll start with you. Usual runners and riders?
Well, yeah, but I think we had a change of the top four order, didn't we, last season, with Liverpool creeping in there and Man United dropping out. Are Man United going to force their way back in there? The top sides have spent enormous amounts of money already this close season, and we're not finished yet.
How many of the top four do you think is going to make it? 5, 6, 7?
Oh, I think it's the top five. I think the four that got there last year are Man United.
So no one outside of that? You can't see Spurs, can't see Everton creeping in?
No, not for me.
Paddy?
Yeah, I think it's the deadliest rivalry in football, Liverpool-Manchester United, to stay in that top four, or in Man United's case, to get back in. I think it'll be between those two. Chelsea, I really fancy. Manchester City, I think will be at least as strong, and Arsenal as well. And then it's between Man United and Liverpool. And if twist my arm, I will go for Manchester United, because Liverpool, I think, will struggle to cope with the twin European and domestic football. If they'd had them last season, they certainly wouldn't have got as close to the title as they did.
Curbs, how much of a miss is Suarez going to be?
Oh, massive. I think when you lose that amount of goals and assists, I think people have got to realise that. And, what worries me about Liverpool is that Sturridge took a lot of injuries since he's been there. You never quite know if someone's going to come along. So if Sturridge is out as well, they've lost 50-odd goals from last season. And I think Brendan Rodgers has perhaps got his calculations wrong a little bit. He's spent all this money, enormous amount of money, but he ain't bought that striker. He hasn't bought that marquee signing to go up front with Sturridge. And if Sturridge is missing, to be that lone striker. No disrespect, but $4 million on Ricky Lambert is not what you want when you're in Champions League football and fighting for the Premier League title.
Let's kick off with Chelsea, Paddy. The bookies' favourites, I believe. They spent a lot of money on Diego Costa. Fabregas has come in as well. Jose's saying now he's got the striker to win the Premier League.
I think he has, but I don't think it's quite as simple as that. Because, while Liverpool will miss Suarez, I think even last season Chelsea missed prime Frank Lampard. And if you're going to replace prime Frank Lampard, for me, I don't think there's a player in the world I'd choose above Cesc Fabregas. Equally, the left back that was Ashley Cole, the attacking left back that was Ashley Cole 5 years ago, how do you replace that? Filipe Luis from Atletico Madrid is about as close as you'll get to that attacking left back. I know they used Azpilicueta on his wrong foot last season and he was terrific, but it's not the same. If you look at what Atletico got from Filipe Luis, it was more width, it was more verve and pace down that left-hand side. So I think Chelsea have bought very astutely. They've bought as cleverly as they did a decade ago when Jose Mourinho first came, and in came Petr Cech. Makelele was already there. In came Didier Drogba, and they won 2 titles in a row. So for me, Chelsea are the 2014-15 champions because they've bought so well.
Now, who does he start in goal?
Doesn't matter for me. I would start with Petr Cech, but there again, I don't have the problem of trying to hold on to Thibaut Courtois, who is who's unquestionably the best goalkeeper under 23 in the world, and he's a candidate for best goalkeeper of any age in the world. But Petr Cech last season, the feeling that we maybe had on occasion, we always do when a goalkeeper reaches 32, 33, we look for signs of vulnerability. He answered all those questions. He had one of his best ever seasons. So, I don't know what you do. You maybe play 2 games every Saturday.
Curbs, let's talk about the champions, Manchester City. They won it last season. They didn't win it as convincing as I thought they would, but they've signed players in this transfer window in key areas.
And I think they've signed in the right areas, as you said, Jace. I think centre-back was a problem to them. Whoever accompanies Vincent Kompany seemed to be a problem, and I think that they may have nailed that now with the big signing. I can't quite see where Frank Lampard's going to fit in with all that midfield quality they've got. They've signed Fernando. They've got so many. Toure, Silva, Garcia, Frank Lampard. But I think if they're going to have this title challenge, which I believe they're going to, then I think Aguero's the massive player from. And the injuries he took at the end of last season, the injuries he took at the World Cup, they need a fully fit Aguero. But I look at their squad. If he's not fit, then Dzeko. If he's not fit, then Negredo. But I think they need a fit Aguero to win the Premier League. And I think that may be the difference between winning it and losing it, Aguero.
Arsenal always there or thereabouts. They looked impressive against Man City. What are their credentials?
Well, their credentials are they've been in the top four forever. Just can't, over the last 8 or 9 years, manage to get to that top spot. I think they've done well in the transfer market. I think that they always enjoy a good pre-season. I think Arsene Wenger's pre-season is regimented. It's not been fractured like Man City's and Liverpool's and Man United's and Chelsea's to somewhat. So I think he will get off to a good start, Arsenal. The question is, are they good enough to last the pace, which is the big problem and always been one of their problems. I think they're going to finish in the top 4 comfortable, but I don't think they're going to win the Premier League.
Liverpool have sold Suarez, Paddy. They've made all those signings. Curbs isn't that impressed with what Brendan has done. What's your opinion?
I'm not wildly impressed with what he's done, although it's a little bit like Tottenham last season. You take out Gareth Bale, it doesn't really matter who you bring in because there aren't many players at the Suarez Bale level. In fact, I don't think even Bale is at the Suarez's level in terms of, Curbs talked about at least 2 of his virtues in terms of, goal scoring, but also making goals. There's the third virtue, which is energy, nuisance value. I don't think anybody played against Liverpool last season and came off the pitch not having had, probably no defender came off the pitch not having had one of the most horrible afternoons of the season. So it's virtually impossible to replace him, Luis Suarez. I also think that the workload will be a significant factor. I think if Liverpool finish 4th this season, it will be a greater achievement than finishing 2nd last season.
Well, if they do finish 4th next season, chances are Manchester United are going to miss out. What have you made of Van Gaal's pre-season? It's been very good, but what about the players that he hasn't brought in?
Yeah, pre-season can be a bit of a trap. I must say I would have liked, although Herrera, lots of expected of him, I'm not sure that someone like Fabregas, who understands our league, wouldn't have been a better signing there. Herrera will eventually be effective, I'm sure, but maybe not this season. So I think I think they'll finish. I would go if you twisted my arm, I would say Manchester United will finish 4th. I don't think the pre-season matters. Those are testimonial games. This is the real thing about to begin.
Wayne Rooney's been given the armband. How much will that add to his game?
Well, I just think that Rooney, he looked really in the pre-season games slimmer, more energetic, if you can say that about Rooney, and more aggressive about his game. I think he's got a bit between his teeth. Van Persie needs to stay fit. I just think their biggest minus, Man United, was the close season. I think waiting for Van Gaal to turn up, waiting for him to make his signings. I think he's missed the boat on 1 or 2 because he wasn't at Old Trafford, say, from the end of last season once David Moyes left. And I think David Moyes had a similar problem signing players. And once you get into the last couple of weeks of this window, it's really pressurised and you're paying too much money. So I don't think Man United are going to get the players in who they want. And I think that Van Gaal's brief is long term. And I think if they don't get their players in this window or in the January window, they'll take it on the chin for next season. But, how long can they not be in that Champions League? Liverpool have been out of it for so long. They've got back in it. Man United can't afford to be out another year. So this is a massive season for Man U.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Now it's over to you, the fan, to get involved. What have you thought of what Paddy and Alan have had to say? It's your chance to have your say. Go to the website, www.FootballFan.Zone. You can tweet us at Talk2Fanzone, that's the number 2, and you can email us, talk@FootballFan.Zone.